Hello, I'm Jishan Karbanda.
And I'm Ron Batu, and welcome to our podcast, Weekly Dose of High School, where we will be guiding you through the life of a high school student while speaking to knowledgeable people in the industry.
Welcome to our fourth episode. Today we are here with Sakayt Singh, a junior at UC Merced who is studying computer science. I would like to mention to our audience that I personally known Sakayt for quite some time, as he and I used to go to the same martial arts school. And folks, in today's episode, we're going to be hearing Sakayt speak about his college journey, dating all the way back from his time in high school and all the experiences and memories he has made throughout his time in college.
Before we get started, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience, Sakit?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Varun. My name is Sakayt Singh. I am a junior at the University of California, Merced. I am currently a computer science major going into my third year on campus.
Great, Sakit. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode.
Okay, Sakayt. So the first question that I have for you is, in your opinion, what is better for computer science, the CSUs, which are the California State Universities, or the UCs, which are known as the University of Californias, and why would that be?
Well, in my opinion, both universities have very excellent computer science programs. However, I would say that the University of California universities are currently thriving within the range of the computer science programs, while CSUS universities have already reached that goal.
Thanks, Sakit. I have another question that's deviating away from CS majors. Did you personally have someone review your college essays, or do you peer edit them yourself?
I actually did have someone review my essays. It was actually my in high school, my senior English teacher. I actually asked him to review all of my college essays.
Thank you.
Okay, Saket. So now I'm going to ask you a question which relates to UC Merced in specific. So I've heard from many people across the internet and from my personal friend group that UC Merced education is substandard at times, especially when it comes to computer science. So I wanted to hear from you in regards to this. Do you think these rumors are true, or do you think UC Merced's education system lives up to a UC, especially for CS, or is it getting better and better?
I would have to say that these rumors are not entirely true. Yes, I do believe that UC Merced does have a very interesting computer science program, but like everything else, there's always room for improvement. And I've seen that improvement within my classes. But from my experience, I believe that the school is doing its best and it will continue to do better. And honestly, that's all that really matters for its students.
And so I saw in the news some time back that UC Merced is close to the point of becoming a T100 school, so top 100. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. I can confirm on that.
Got it. Thank you.
So, Sakit, although you're a computer science major, you most likely have friends who are applying to a medical school, and I'm also applying or will be going down the medical route. So, Sakit, when do you think is the best year to take the MCAT exam?
Well, that would all depend on when you started your college journey or when you are expected to graduate or any time when you're deciding to go to medical school, really. But I would have to say during the fall, in my opinion.
Thank you. So, Sakit, I have another question for you. As someone who has already graduated from high school, you probably have some insight into this question that I'm about to ask. Do you think a student who donates to university, as in probably thousands of dollars, will be more favored than a student who has applied for early decision to the exact same school?
Well, unfortunately, I would have to go with the students who donated thousands of dollars to the school because there are universities in this world who would be more willing to be focused on uh, acquiring money from the students rather than bringing in students who would donate so much money to that school. They would rather go for those students instead of giving the students the education and degrees that they rightfully deserve. I would have to say.
So say if I donated like $300 to like Stanford University, would I be more favored than a student who was applied for early admission to that exact same school?
Yeah, I would have to say so because that's what some schools are. I know all schools vary, but specific like maybe not for Stanford, but I know there are schools who would do something like that.
All right, thank you
And
for your answer.
yeah, and I just wanted to clear up something when Brian mentioned ED to Stanford. So Stanford doesn't offer ED; offers REE, which is restricted early action. Essentially, it's non-binding. However, you can apply to any other schools. But and also now I'd like to ask Saket, as a follow-up to that, which hook do you think is like the most advantageous? So like common hooks are like legacies, recruited athletes, underrepresented minority, or your geographic location or a person who donated like thousands of dollars, like Varun mentioned. So out of those, what do you think is the most advantageous to an applicant?
Well, honestly, first, it all depends on this university that you're applying to. Like there will be some universities who would favor for people who are most athletic, while others would focus more on legacies. And I'm pretty sure a majority of universities would be focused on not like all universities will be about grades, but there are universities that would talk about like donations, like donating like I don't know, a building or something to that campus, that kind of stuff.
All right, thank you. And now I'm going to ask you a question which is slightly unrelated to the previous questions. But how do you think Boy Scouts and being an Eagle Scouts in specific, which is like the highest rank of a Boy Scout, how has that helped you out in your personal day-to-day life?
Well, Deshaun, being a Boy Scout for 7 years has allowed me to develop many skills on how to be mature and grow up as a person. Those would include academic skills, self-confidence, ethnics, leadership skills, and citizenships skills, which really allowed me to connect with people more on campus. And that's just Boy Scouts. But when I became an Eagle Scout, being an Eagle taught me one thing that no setback or obstacle is too great for anyone to handle.
Mhm. And just another thing, so like I know you also did martial arts. So how is martial arts and Boy Scouts in tandem? Like how have they helped you? And if I remember correctly, are you a second degree black belt or higher?
Well, martial arts has taught me how to defend myself, and it's really good when you're on campus because unfortunately there are a bunch of like weirdos. Like you'll, it's life. We all come across those kinds of bad people, so it's actually good to learn martial arts so that way you can defend yourself and the ones you care about. And yes, I am a first degree black belt.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Hey, Socket, I have a question for you. I remember reading a Reddit thread a few months ago about a senior who was accepted to both Harvard and UC Berkeley, but decided to reject her invitation to Harvard because she didn't like the campus. I feel like there were different factors coercing her to make the decision. So, what do you think students like her would? So, why do you think students like her would give up this once in a lifetime opportunity?
Well, I like to believe that when one door closes, another door opens. Every student is different. And often we look like so long upon the closed door that we don't see the one that's been open for us. And maybe one of her factors was that she wanted to live on a campus and she wanted to move into dorms on a nice campus. And that way she would have had a like she would rather enjoy herself going to classes and studying and all by going to a university with a good campus. And not all students are the same, where not all students would want to get an education, but they have different ways of learning and how to live their life. And that's how I would see it.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
And Saket, do you like believe in school prestige? For example, there's a common acronym known like as HIPSON, which stands for Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, MIT. So like I know a lot of students in this country dream to go to these schools just because of the fact that it gives them prestige and gives them bragging rights per se. So like do you believe in that factor or do you feel a student should choose like a mediocre school or like not well-known school even if it offers the same amount of like programs or education?
Well, that I don't necessarily know that upon. I understand UC Merced isn't like up there with Princeton and all, but it is a good school. But I don't think that would have to give you bragging rights. I do believe one thing though. It's better to get like good grades at a smaller college, like good grades, smaller college, that's much better than getting like average okay grades at like a high prestige at Stanford. That's
Mhm.
what I believe in.
Because at the end of the day, I guess you could do your grad study at like another good school. So
It's true.
yeah, I agree with you there. And now shifting gears a little bit, how do you find college life overall? Is it like fun to live in dorms with others? Is it fun experiencing new places with your friends and classmates? And finally, like how's the overall transition? Like how have you experienced, how was the transition for you from high school to college?
I would have to say that for my freshman year of UC Merced, it was all online, so I had to work from the comfort of my home. My second year, I was able to move into dorms, and let me tell you, my whole semester year was a whole 360, like a 180 U-turn, where everything was just so new to me. Like, like classes with my friends and having fun together. Living in dorms has been really exciting. It's like it changed my perspective on a lot of things. I've made great friends. I was able to meet up with my old friend who also went to the same karate school, Manjot, and I've met very wonderful people, and it's really fun to hang out with them. So yeah, but as I said, my transition from high school to college was pretty long because of COVID, and I wasn't able to see any new faces from my freshman class. But yeah, I would have to say it's actually pretty good.
Mhm. Thank you.
Well, that's it for today on episode 4 of Weekly of High School. Thank you, Sakit. Hope you guys enjoy listening to Sakit speak about college admissions as much as we did.
And also, guys, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, or even YouTube. We're on all those platforms and we upload weekly episodes. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. Until then, take it easy, guys.